Welcome to another cast brought to you by StarCastTV. I am Nyoken, and today we're going to be casting Rush versus Liquid Hero, the StarCraft 2 player. For those of you that don't know, Liquid Hero was a StarCraft 1 player. He was on the Shield clan, and they were one of the top teams back in the days. And he was also on Hwasong Oz, but back then it was called Likaf Oz. So he's obviously a very good StarCraft 1 player, and he's back playing StarCraft 1 and actually streaming on Afrika. And you know he's pretty damn good if he's going up against players like Rush. And today we're going to be having a best of 3 between them. Rush, of course, a Terran player that was on CJ Entis, didn't get to make a name for himself before Broodwar ended up dying, but he was very strong back then and really on the cusp of breaking out into the, I think, onto Pro League. Or maybe he did play Pro League quite a bit, but regardless, he wasn't a superstar back then. But nowadays, you can consistently see him in the top 10, top 20 of the ladder. Now, for Hero, even though I know he was a StarCraft 1 player, I don't remember exactly what he was known for. And we've been seeing a lot of Protoss players skimp out on probes these days, staying around 55 to 60 probes and really going for a huge army and trying to just overwhelm the Terran player. So I'm curious to see what Hero is going to go for. Is he going to go for the old school style, which was tons and tons of probes, huge bank, huge, tons of bases all over the place? Or is he going to be playing the more modern style that I face on the ladder, which is a low probe count, 3 or 4 base, and just kind of running you over? Now back on the other side of the map, we've got Rush going for a 12 gas this time. Rush is a really good Terran versus Protoss player. He reminds me kind of like 4GG, where he has strong timings, but can also play the macro game. Now what does Hero want to go for? We have the standard cybernetics coming down. We don't see a zealot coming out just yet, so he's not going to be rushing Rush this time. Not going to try and get any marine kills, not going to try and put any pressure onto a low ground command center. Now Rush with the 12 gas is going to have his factory coming down pretty soon. And what does he want to do with it? Because we see a whole bunch of varieties these days. We've even seen one base starport. We consistently see fast expand into starport. We could even see potentially a 2-fac play. But Rush has pulled off of gas, so none of that is going to happen, at least in this game just yet. And we do see that Rush has gone for the end scout, trying to scout for the 12 Nexus, and he's going to see that, unfortunately for him, he's not going to find Hero at either of these bases, and it's going to be a last scout for him, so he's going to be in the dark. Now what does he really want to do with his initial Marines? We've got a 3 coming out, which means he's going to be skipping the bunker. The probe actually gets in, and he's going to confirm that this was a 12 gas. Of course, he can pretty much confirm that since the Marines, or since the command center was not on the low ground. But actually, he canceled that 3rd Marine. I guess he's decided that a zealot isn't coming. He can get away with going for the fast command center off of 2 Marines, which honestly is kind of risky since all he saw was the probe. Instantly puts down an add-on, and he instantly gets a command center. So a lot of times, as a Terran player, you're building the bunker before the command center, because if a zealot comes and you don't have the bunker, you're in trouble. So Rush getting a little greedy here. He's not going to get punished for it. Meanwhile, SCV not going to get in here and see anything. He sees 2 goons, so at least he knows that it's not a 21 Nexus. But other than that, doesn't really see anything. And actually, this was a fast robotics for Hero. So this is going to be a super fast shuttle into Reaver. And honestly, the Nexus timing looks pretty normal. This looks like a standard 2 goon expand. But we know that this is going to be pretty much the fastest Reaver you can go for. And back on Rush's side of the map, unfortunately for him, he went for a Vulture, which means that he's going to have less tanks than he normally would have to defend this Reaver. So already, Rush is in big trouble. He's got mines, but these mines really are not going to help him. They're just going to give him a little bit of vision onto the map. But other than that, really not much to help him. Now, one thing to notice here is this goon is not firing onto the bunker. Now, this could be a tell to Rush that already something is up. But so far, he hasn't sniffed it out because he's going into another Vulture. Again, not going to help him versus Reaver.
Really, right now, he needs more tanks. He needs a Wraith. Now, the Goon didn't fire back, and the tank does have one more range than the Dragoon. But if this was me, I would have think, okay, something's definitely up. We instantly see a second factory going down, but I don't see an armory anywhere. I don't see a starport anywhere. Mines are being placed. This does look like DT. But unknowing to Rush, this is actually Reaver. Now, where is the shuttle? Okay, there's the shuttle. We see it at the bottom. And it's coming across the map. And if we look at what Rush has right now, it's one tank, 2 Marines. There's going to be 2 tanks by the time it gets across the map. Luckily for him, he's got his armory coming up. And I think by the time... Oh, the Vultures are going to see the shuttle. And now he knows what's coming. There's no way that he could have gotten a Reaver this fast unless it was a 1 base skipped range build, which it was. And now he desperately needs to get some units up. This has got to be an eBay. Nope, actually a supply depot. eBay would have been nice here to help fend off this shuttle. Mines being set up. He knows what it is now. Gonna avoid that mine for now. Gonna try and sneak into the main. But I guess actually the 2 tanks in combination with 1 Vulture and a couple Marines is going to be more than enough to fend off the Reaver. Also, the Dragoon is heavily damaged, so that really hurts the potential shuttle harassment from Hero. Now, the Reaver does get a shot off, but it duds, only dealing 50 damage. That's what can happen when the tank goes in the opposite direction of the Scarab. Now, the Dragoon gets off a shot, but it doesn't get off enough damage to actually finish off that tank. So far, this Reaver really has not done much. And now, speed already kicking in. Oh! That... Wow, actually anticlimactic Scarab right there. But speed kicking in lets Rush know that he heavily committed to this Reaver play. So, he knows that behind this, more than likely, Hero doesn't have a 3rd base. Doesn't really have to worry about that for now. Another Scarab dud. So, really good harassment or reaction to the harassment from Rush. Now back on Hero side of the map, he's rushed into +1 weapon. He's getting another shuttle. He's got range coming in. I thought that might have been for weapon right here into some type of Stargate play. But this looks like we're going to have a heavy two base bust potentially. A lot of shuttle bombs. Now the scan did get used on the main to try and wipe out that observer, which does remain there. So that means that there's no scan into the main of Hero just yet. So he really doesn't know exactly what's going on. Looks like we're going to have a double shuttle bomb into the top side of the map, into the main again. Rush has not used his scans that much, so really I don't think he should suspect this. Okay, I do hear some scans have gone off. He does see that the Stargate's coming in. He missed the Citadel here, and he missed, or he doesn't see a Nexus at bottom middle. Now here come those shuttles. How much damage can they get done? There's really not a lot of defense. It's 2 tanks, 1 Goliath. Zealots get unloaded. 2 Reavers, remember. Can they not dud this time? There goes 1 tank. 2nd tank is going to fall too. And this is a lot of damage being done. It's going to potentially get off all these Goliaths too. 1 Reaver does fall, but the tanks fall. 2 tanks still left. Wraith is here. Ooh, good harassment. Going to get some few more SCVs. What happened to that Scarab? It just disappeared. Doesn't manage to get any more SCV kills. A bit unfortunate. The probe to SCV count is still okay for Terran. He did manage to wipe out a lot of expensive units, the tanks and Goliaths, and he forced out a Wraith, 2 Wraiths even. So a big commitment to defense from Rush here to make sure that he doesn't die. Now back on the other side of the map, we still only have 4 gates. I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see more gateways coming down. But instead it's just going to be a rush into Arbiter's Temple Archive. Is almost done. Meanwhile, 3rd base going up for Hero. He's taking a sneaky base at mid-right. Normally you're scanning to see bottom middle. I heard another scan go off. It looks like he cleared out an observer somewhere. But despite the damage being done, Rush has managed to keep up in supply. It's 72 to 81. But here comes that gateway flood. There's up to 7 now. DT's coming in. Hero pulling out all the stops here, being super dirty. Arbiter Tribunal coming up. Reaver DT drop more than likely going to be coming in pretty soon. Observers checking for the 3rd base. Wraiths are going to find an observer. Really annoying to just get your observers picked off over and over and over. But we see that the power spike of Rush has really been delayed. He's still only on 2 factories. His 3rd command center is just now being built. Another scan has gone off. I don't really know what he saw there, but he still doesn't know about mid-right. Arbiter Tribunal is about to finish. +2 weapon has already started for Hero, and +2 weapon is a huge power spike for the Protoss army. You always want to have +2 weapon versus +1 armor. Always, 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 because goons and zealots take one more hit to actually kill vultures and tanks. Here we go. Hero putting on a little bit of pressure, trying to keep Rush back in his base as long as possible. Get up his 3rd base up and running. Oh, looks like he's going to go for it. Now there's a DT pull into the mine. Tried to trigger on those tanks. I think that was a bit ambitious there. But he's not really going to get punished that hard for that. Really only loses 1 DT. But he does keep Rush on his toes, even forcing out a drop ship. Now Rush is one of those players that will harass, like I said, like 4GG does. DT drop going into the main. Wipes out 2 mines, is going to annoyingly kill a depot. But other than that, really not a lot of damage done with these DTs. Meanwhile, Arbiter has started. We do have speed almost done. We've got 3rd base up and running. We've got Storm coming in. More than likely, Hero's going to take bottom middle pretty soon. But you can see probe count still at 60. So he is playing the more modern style these days, keeping his probe count relatively low around the 60 range. And Rush is one of the people that never misses a beat on SCVs. So he's actually going to be in quite a bit of trouble if he builds way too many SCVs. The last time I saw Rush, I think it was versus YSC, and he had something like 90 SCVs. So that's a huge differential there to be even in upgrades, down 30 supply in terms of workers. He's going to have to be very careful to balance out his SCV count. So far, so good. 66 is pretty much the perfect number you want for 3 base. And Rush, like I said, he's been doing a really fantastic job keeping up his supply. 125 to 125. It doesn't get much better than that. But the problem for him now is that he's left Hero to do whatever he wants for the first 12 minutes of this game. Arbiter's going to come out. Storm is almost done. He still has those shuttles with speed, so he can just shuttle harass with Templars into the main or natural, or into the natural in the 3rd base. He can use them to easily wipe out clumps of tanks in the middle of a fight. There's going to be a lot of AoE potential from Hero, and I'm really liking his position, especially now that he's taking bottom middle as his 4th base. We do see a drop at the top right. It's going to be coming into mid right, I guess, sometime. But really, there's no opportunity to drop anywhere. The cannon should really defend almost every single inch of this base, except for right here. But this is what I'm talking about with Rush. This is what you got to watch out for. 76 SCVs versus 63 probes. And we know that Hero has tons of AoE. So if he can get even just a decent amount of tanks stasis and then combo it with a couple storms, all of a sudden, this tank count, which is pretty high, I think there's 8 here, 2 here, so 10. That's really going to be a lot of army just instantly wiped off the map. Now Hero does have his Arbiter. It is at 100 energy. He needs about 50 more to get his recall. I don't think we have recall just yet. No, it's about halfway done. But does he want to just go for it? This is so oh, he found a group of tanks! Perfect stasis! 5 tanks gone. There's only 3 tanks to defend, really. Hero might just end it. There's really not a lot of defense. Scrambling to get into the entrance of his base right now is Rush. But I don't think he has enough to hold this. Actually, the goon count is surprisingly low. Where is all of his supply? He was up about 15 supply, and he catches 5 tanks for free. But it just really feels like his army is very, very small. It may have been caught up in the gateways before they were actually made. But that was a good attempt from Hero to try and just bust through there. Meanwhile, despite not actually having success there, he's taking his 5th base at top right. He's still keeping that low probe count. He's got a 6th base coming up. This is when it starts getting dangerous, as Terran is Protoss is just exploding all across the map. Even though he wasted a stasis, the Arbiter is still alive. It's still banking energy. We still have the shuttle that has multiple Templars in it. We do have a 2nd Arbiter coming out And Hero has done a good job on his upgrades. He started +3 weapon and +1 armor, so his upgrades are going to be fantastic in any incoming fight. Meanwhile, Rush no slouch on the upgrades either. He's got 2-1 coming, but it looks like he's waiting for the 3-2 power spike. He's not going to get out onto the map with his initial 2-1. I think this move out right now is more than likely just to... Ooh, what's this? A shuttle bomb into the top. Double shuttle bomb. Instant reaction to pull those SCVs. Luckily for him, not losing any. But that was a big loss for the Protoss because I did see at least 2 Templars there, 2 shuttled, 6 Zealots. So that's a lot of resources to be lost there. But it does keep tearing back. And this is Fighting Spirit, where it is somewhat difficult to get a 4th base. It's not Circuit Breakers. So as long as he just keeps Rush in his main... Oh, an SCV! Oh, a mine pull into the SCVs, I thought. But the SCVs don't go down. But meanwhile, he's breaking through into this 3rd base. We do have a drop into the main of Hero, but I don't really see this doing much damage. Sure, he forces a pull here, but this base is essentially mined out. But now Rush is up. Oh, he was up 20 supply, but look at that macro come in. We've got about 12 gates here for Hero. Instantly closes the gap in terms of supply, but I think now's the time for Rush to go because he killed all of those Templars and Zealots in the shuttle bomb. He's forced a lot of probes off the mineral lines in the main and the 4th base now, and he's about to have +3 weapon. It's going to be kicking in pretty soon, maybe within the next 30 seconds. Yeah, about 45 seconds. He's got a huge army, and he also really hasn't lost that many tanks. He's got about 15 right now. Now's his window of opportunity. Looks like Hero may have overextended a little, or not overextended, but overtaken too many bases. Bottom left has a lot of probes here. He can easily wipe this. He can easily wipe bottom middle. But still, Hero would still have 4 bases. Now, Rush is turning around, and I don't know what triggered him to turn around. Oh, actually, a missed recall into the main. If he gets this armory, that's +3 weapon. That's a massive power spike. Oh, he's going to focus it down. He's going to get it before Rush gets +3. And now, Rush is in deep trouble. There goes +3. Also, all of these units funnel up into Storm. Looks like there's no more Storms available, but Hero got off the most important recall in this game. He's able to kill off +3 weapon, and Rush's macro is slipping quite a bit. He only has 7 factories. Look, we've got 4 tanks queued up in this factory, 3 in this one. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, still so many gateways for Hero. He's got a couple at top right also, so he's got about 15 gate, and he's got double Stargate. So he's really pumping out those Arbiters. He's hit his upgrades so well on the Forge, even starting to get plasma shields. He's going to have +3, +2, +1, more than likely, before Rush can even get +3 weapon. Again, huge macro slips this game for Rush. I don't know what the problem is, but he is struggling to pump out takes. He's got 5 queued up. But his army is still huge, and now he's the one with the worker disadvantage. So he's the one with the massive army, but he really doesn't have that much AoE other than EMP. Sure, tanks do splash damage, of course, but it's not like he has, you know, a big minefield anywhere. He just have mines kind of in random places. But the army is very tiny for Hero. How does he actually fight this army? It's so many tanks. Zealots try and get onto the front line right here. A perfect storm hits 4 tanks. Zealot bomb into the back. Zealots on top of the tanks. Oh, these storms are amazing, but is it enough? Rush is going to hold on here, but I think that the econ for Hero is kind of just too strong right now. He's managed to kill off so many tanks. There's only 9 remaining. There's absolutely no supporting units. The Arbiters still remain strong, and with 3 of them, they can actually deal a decent amount of damage. And remember, he lost both of his armories, so that means there's actually no Goliath out to actually fend off these Arbiters. So really, the Arbiters can start easily killing off tanks. Now, bottom middle is definitely going to fall. Well, I think it's going to fall. Maybe not. That's a lot of Zealots. A lot of ground army coming in. And Hero is up 40 supply. An EMP comes down, eliminates all the energy. But honestly, I don't think that's a huge deal. The Arbiters will, over time, burst down these tanks. funny to say that burst down tanks with Arbiter, but that's what he's doing. He's killing off quite a few of them. Rush is down 50 supply. He's down. He's mined out at his nat. He's mined out in his main. He's gonna mine out in his third base, maybe in a couple minutes. But Hero's fine. But now I'm getting worried because now he has 80 probes. Looks like he's kind of overreacting. I don't think he's realized that he really hasn't lost that many probes just yet. So he needs to be careful to make sure he doesn't make 90 probes like I've seen Rush do. Because if he does, that's going to let Rush get back into this game. If we factor in the worker differential here, 27 workers, it's basically a maxed Protoss army versus something like a 170 supply of Terran. So that's really not unwinnable for Terran, honestly. +3 armor does kick in for the Protoss. Plasma shield has already kicked in. He's got so many gates. It's like 17 gates. He's got more coming up at bottom left. But look at how tiny his army is. It's just really nothing. Really nothing. Also, there's no observer in this army. Okay, there's only one. Thought for a second he didn't have any detection to, and if he had to run into mines, that would have been catastrophic. Would have lost so many units. Meanwhile, just look at this army. There's 12 zealots here, about a handful of goons here, and not even 12 zealots there. So really, this is like 4 groups of supply for the Protoss army with, I guess, 3 arbiters or so. Really not that much. I'm kind of surprised. Where are the arbiters? Didn't we have 3 just a minute ago? Maybe they ended up dying. I don't know what though, because the Goliath count really was non-existent. But this is a very even game. 197 to 166 with a 25 worker differential. He can definitely win this game, but the issue for me now is it's kind of the money. Here we go, another engagement on the left side. So many tanks sieging up. Do we have stasis? 1 second away from having stasis, but it doesn't look. Oh, get so many tanks right there, and that's going to be the end of this game. Terran just doesn't have anything left. There's too much Protoss. He's only got about 5 units left over, and Protoss has the whole side of the map. So Hero, a legendary StarCraft 2 player, showing us that he can play all the StarCraft games. It's not just StarCraft 2, and Russia's going to fall easily. Honestly, Hero made this look pretty easy. Really impressive play from Hero. Wow, I'm so surprised that he just manhandled Rush like that. So let's get into game 2. That was actually very well done from Hero right there. Remember, the Reaver really didn't do that much. He didn't get that many SCVs. He did kill, I think, a tank and a couple Goliaths. And then remember, the DT drop really didn't do much either. So, despite the harassment not dealing very much, Hero was still able to out macro Rush very easily. So that's quite impressive, because Rush is a very, very strong Terran these days. He's one of the best for sure. And Terran versus Protoss is one of his best matchups. Now our second map is going to be Circuit Breakers. We've got Rush at bottom left. We've got Hero at top left. And again, I am not familiar with Hero's style. Despite him playing on Afrika, I haven't seen any of his games. I didn't know he was streaming on Afrika until Cruiser told me about him. And I can't remember how he used to play back in the day. But it looks like he plays a pretty much modern style, going for arbors, going for the low probe count. The Reaver opening into the DT, that was not very standard. That's kind of a... that's Artosis' nightmare. But a very fun style to watch, and Rush handled it quite easily, but unfortunately for him, I think the losing his +3 kind of sealed the deal for him. That was really what he was relying on, and with it being eliminated so close to actually completing it, it was like 90% done. Really, he needed to wipe out all of bottom left and bottom middle to really have a chance in that game, kind of even it up at 4 base versus 4 base. But I still think Rush has a chance here. Hero did look very dangerous though. Now what does Rush want to go for? Looks like he's going to go for gasless expand. I guess he's decided that 12 gas, it's fine, but he wants to be a little more greedy, and he may know Hero style, because to cancel the 3rd Marine without really seeing anything is a bit unusual, and he did that last game. Meanwhile, Hero's going to be greedy himself because this is going to be a 12 Nexus. Or it's going to be a 13 Nexus. It's going to be a 13 Nexus. Basically the same thing. Now luckily for Rush, he's going to come in here and see that this is a 12 Nexus. He may even pull off because he sees it so fast and doesn't want to show that he sees it. That is what he does. Now what does he want to do with this SCV? I wouldn't be surprised if he proxies a Rax right here. Is that what he's going to do? Proxy Rax? Or is he just going to hide the SCV for now and come in later? Because when Protoss knows that you've seen it, and they scout that you're going for gasless, well, they know that you're most likely going to respond with a fast bunker. You're most likely not going to pull. But with this SCV being hidden, if he had built a second Rax here, that easily could have caught Protoss off guard. But instead, the probe actually comes in at a very lucky time to see these SCVs be pulled off. Instant reaction from Hero pulling off some probes himself. He's pulling off 8 probes. Honestly, that's quite a bit of probes to pull off, just since he only saw 3 SCVs. But I guess he's a little more worried. He doesn't know if there was a second Rax anywhere. Ooh, a nice drill, but he doesn't catch anything. Oh, he catches that Marine. Oh, Rush, you gotta be more careful, dude. Now he may even catch this SCV here, and 9 probes can actually deal a lot of damage. Wow. Wow, the control from the probes are really good. Is he gonna get it? He gets it. This is like watching Terran versus... He's gonna drill under that? What? What is going on? He pulled off 9 probes, gets 4 Marines. He did lose a lot of mining time, but look at how much mining time Rush is also losing. Also, his command center was delayed this whole time, and he could have built it for a while because I was watching the minerals go up and up and up. It was at around 500. Probe trying to get a kill here. These probes are menaces. He pushed it back with just probes. Now he has 2 zealots coming across the map, and the bunker isn't done. The command center still, it started, but it's not being completed. So this is mega delayed, and now he's got to be careful that these Marines don't, or these zealots don't just run into the main. Oh wow, so lucky that that bunker couldn't completed. If that SCV had went down a little bit faster, he may have just been out of this game. But Hero's already done so much damage. Sure, he's down 2 workers still. Wow, amazing SCV control right there, losing really nothing. Fins off these zealots pretty easily, and back on this side of the map, Hero really cut a lot to get those 4 zealots out, and it didn't work out for him. I wish he had have made only 2 there. I do like the 2. I don't know about the 4. He may try and run by this. Yeah, he's gonna go for it. Ooh. Rush preemptively pulling SCVs. He's being so careful. He does not want to lose to a zealot run by. Here he goes. Zealots trying to bust through these SCVs. He takes out 2 SCVs. He's gonna get into the main. But the zealots have taken a lot of damage. I don't really think that they're not going to be able to deal that much damage now. Really great control. Oh my god, amazing control. Ends up only losing 1 Marine and 2 SCVs. That was pretty nice. But Protoss has pulled ahead in workers now, 24 to 21. But he's not as far ahead as I was expecting him to be. Again, he's building more zealots. So the zealots really kind of feel like an overcommitment here. 6 zealots? I don't know. I could go for about 4 here. Really don't need those other 2. This could have been another Nexus almost for him, or something else. Maybe potentially like a robotics or something like that. But regardless, Hero did an amazing job with the probes. Actually, an incredible job with the probes. And we do see that Rush is going to go for that starport play that I mentioned in the last game. This is going to be 2 factory starport. He did have a starport last game, but it was in reaction to the Reaver. This is just, he's gonna go drops despite not seeing anything. He may have gone for it because he didn't scout a robotics, and since there's no robotics, he may think that potentially there are carriers hidden out on the side of the map. Maybe there's a citadel hidden up here, and the drops of, you know, tank vulture is going to be very good when there's no detection at all. Now, one thing I always pay attention to is the saturation at the natural. Because there's only 7 minerals at the nat, You gotta be very careful to not oversaturate probes here, or workers in general. And back in the main, okay, he's got about 15 workers, so he needs about 6 or so more workers up here. But overall, saturation is pretty good. He's got his third Nexus coming in, Templar Archive coming down, Robotic coming down. So this does look like we're going to have another DT drop. I don't see a Stargate anywhere. Range is just now completing. Back on the side of Terran, we have the Academy coming in. Dropship has started to be built. Mines are done. Speed is coming in. Now, if I was Hero, I would be a little bit skeptical of what's going on because there's only one tank. Feels like we should have more. He's going to go for that tank. Now, even though he didn't catch the tank, he did get to see that a Vulture was being made. And why are you building Vultures when you know that there's going to be a lot of Dragoons here? Vulture gets taken down. Honestly, that's a big loss for Rush, because that could have been 4 Vultures. Instead, it's only 3. But I would be wondering, why are there so few tanks? So if I was Hero here, I think these Dragoons, if they just stay in the main, this is going to be a fantastic position for him. Here come the drop into the natural. How many does he want to unload here? I hope this Dragoon does not go. Okay, he luckily does stay here. Gonna focus down the dropship. Ooh, it's one shot away. One shot away. Zealot is gonna clear out these mines. Nicely done. So far, no mines have hit. Okay, he wipes out a Zealot in a Pro, but who cares about that? Meanwhile, a natural Vulture getting so many kills. Oh god, don't run into that mine. Okay, he doesn't run into the mine. He didn't really see much other than there's a Robo and Citadel and Templar Archive. He may not recognize that this is a lacking of the Stargate. He may not expect a DT drop to come in. Comsat is not done. I don't see a single turret up just yet. Oh, the natural DT drop. He's got to be careful not to lose a lot of SCVs right now, and also be careful to not drag a mine into the nat scans, but that's not going to do much. He does force a liftoff of the DTs, but they're still here and they can just continually harass. He's going to wipe. Oh, one more hit. Turret will complete. But so far, this harassment has been great. He didn't kill a lot of SCVs, but there's no more scans available. He's going to be able to sit in the main forever. And another thing to pay attention to is look at where these depots are placed. Here, here, here. As a Terran player, and one being placed here. Now remember last game, Rush struggled to macro very well. He was only on 7 factory. Really felt like the macro was a bit off. Also queuing up 5 tanks in one of his factories. And this could be, again, him macroing pretty poorly because he really is running out of space to build factories. If he puts one here, it walls him in. You can fit 2 here. But where does he put other ones? Here, here. Again, we're going to be at like 6, 7 factories. So this is something to pay attention to see how well Rush can macro out of this. So he's going for his 3rd command center. Meanwhile, Hero already has his 3rd command center. I heard a scan go off. He's going to be wiping out the DT down here. And back on the side of Hero, he's got his Stargate done. He still only has 4 gateways, but it's okay because Rush still only has 2 factories, and he spent a lot of resources building now a 2nd dropship, and I saw a Wraith. So really, Hero's under no threat of actually being killed or being timing attacked at all. But despite Rush spending so much resources and losing so much supply in the Vultures and the SCVs, he's kept his supply even with Hero. He's up 5 workers. Remember, Hero went for 12 Nexus, so he should be up workers. He even had a 3rd Nexus up before Rush. So Hero really cutting a bit of probes here to get whatever he's going for. Now here comes another drop. Does he see the Dragoons? No reaction. I think that's just going to be an instant loss of this. Oh, no. Actually, the Vultures do unload, but it's not going to get much damage done. He's just going to have to instantly turn around. Another DT drop into the natural. Wow, this is where the armories are too. He's going to focus down the armories. That's going to be a dead armory. +1 weapon is gone. And what do you do as Rush now? This is the 2nd time in a row he's lost his armory right before something's going to complete. These DT drops are very, very deadly. He's also just hiding his DTs, forcing out scans. Every time he forces out a scan, that means Terran can't attack. Why? Because Arbiter has started to build. There's about a minute window for Terran to attack right now, where he doesn't need to have any detection at all. But once the Arbiter comes out, we need as many scans as possible, and right now, we have absolutely none. Another thing is now we have 4 STVs on gas. Okay, he sees it, pulls off. But these armories getting wiped was huge. Absolutely huge. He was setting up to start getting his +2 power spike, but now that's gone. And what does Protoss have? It doesn't look like Protoss has any upgrades just yet. Unlike last game, he only has +1 weapon. He is still going for Arbiter play. We don't see any carriers in either of the games so far. Now what does Rush do? Because he's in between a rock and a hard place. He has a big army. He's going to have a very sizable army with +1, but +1 is really not a very strong power spike for Terran. It's almost not a power spike. Also, he's going to be facing a lot of AoE with Arbiters, but if he starts to camp the game out, we saw how well Hero was macroing in Fighting Spirit. He took the whole map, and if you give Protoss the whole map on Circuit Breaker, it's going to be very hard to actually come back. If he gets both corners, that's almost going to be impossible for Rush to break. Now again, Hero doing a very good job with his probe count. At 58, I'd like to see like 2 more basically saturate top middle perfectly, and then he would have an amazing probe count with great Gateway Army and Arbiter count. Now again, just like last game, he's got Templars mixed in with his Arbiters, so he has huge AoE potential. And Rush, like I always see him, he always has a lot of SCVs. This is a good SCV count for him, 74, because he's going to be taking a 4th base pretty soon. This is going to be the command center going down, so he is setting up for 4 base Terran, but this is going to be such a slow 2-1 play from him, or I guess in this scenario, 2-2 play, that the only way I can really see Rush winning this game is we go for 3-3, just camp out the game as long as possible. That's the only way I can see it. He needs to have so many tanks. There's going to be so much AoE here. Ooh, Arbiter needs to be careful. Vessel sharking around to try and get an EMP off. Does he have EMP? Not sure just yet. It looks like he wants to attack right now, but I don't think this is the angle. Arbiter coming in. Oh my god, so many tanks clumped up again! Oh, EMP is perfect. Right at the last minute does he EMP that Arbiter, and now it actually just falls for free. Are you still going to go for it? He's still going to go for it. Okay, yeah, I think that was a wise decision. No need to go in there. Just let him compound his advantage. He knows that he wiped out +1. So it's a massive power spike. Just start taking the whole map, Hero. Take top right, take bottom right. Just any base, take it and force Rush to do something. Now remember what I said about these factories. Again, there's only 7 and he's on 3 base. And Flash has talked about how many factories do you want on 3 base. Always 8 or 9. So we're lacking on the factories for Rush. He really has no place to build them. Really right here is the only spot he can build it. Everywhere else, or I guess right here too. So he can go up to 9. But other than that, there's really not a lot of area to build factories because these depots and Starport are just all over the place. Vultures do find top right. He's going to try and take out the Nexus, but there's just not enough DPS. But I think this is fine for Hero to just sit here and wait. It's of course fine for Rush to sit here and wait for his 3-3. But this is also okay for Hero because he's got 2 Stargates, he's got double Forge, he's got triple Forge. He's going to have a lot of Arbiters once Rush actually decides to attack him. And one thing to also note is that Rush really doesn't have that much gas. He's just now getting his 3rd gas, just now getting his 4th base. Okay, he does start +2, but he doesn't start +2 armor. Here comes another, ooh, Templar drop. Templar gets taken, oh my gosh, oh my god. Okay, good reaction right there. Still managed to get quite a few Templars there, or quite a few SCVs, but both Templars get wiped out and the Zealot gets wiped out. But again, this is okay. Everything is fine for both sides. 3-3 power spike, obviously huge for Terran. Protoss needs to bank up their Arbiter army. I don't really see that many arbiters. I hope that he is focusing on arbiters as opposed to gateway units now, but it doesn't look like he is. There's only 2. I feel like that's kind of a mistake from Hero. He's gonna try and make something happen at bottom middle, but this is just gonna be a meat grinder if he funnels in here. So many tanks. Rush is really ready for this. But we do have a few gateways going up at top right. How many gates do we have for Hero? It looks like we've got 10 in the main, 13 in total, 3 at top right. So both players are just waiting for their opportunity. The opportunity for Rush is once 2-2 completes. Opportunity for Protoss is once he gets out more arbiters, gets more storm. Looks like Rush wants to attack before his power spike. He is basically maxed, but this is such a big spike. Yeah, he's gonna just slow push it for now. This is very smart from him. Hero, you gotta be careful. Loses a lot of goons for free, basically. And now Rush, if he can slowly creep up to mid-left, that's gonna be 5 base Terran. Still, Circuit Breaker has so many bases on this map. 5 base Terran can't take on 10 base Protoss, of course. But this is a start. Slowly creeping. Where's the AoE from Hero? Oh, looks like hallucinated arbiters into mid-left. Wipes out all of the arbiters right there with an EMP. But that was hallucination. He doesn't care about that. Here comes the real arbiter in through the middle. No EMP available now. What does Rush do? It looks like he's going to turn around some vultures, but he's going to continue pushing top right. But you never want to base trade a Protoss. And he's found, this time he hasn't found access into the armories. It would have been another slick timing if he got this armory +2. But he's on top of the factories. And now once these factories go down, we have really no production. There's 2 factories on the low ground. Again, tons of tanks being queued up in all of these factories. Rush really not macroing the greatest this game. Meanwhile, his attack to top right is getting pushed back. There's so many units here. Oh, we got a storm. We have to storm. Good storm there. Good defensive matrix too, saving these tanks. Really nicely done from Rush. So actually he manages to save his army. Back in the main, he deals with the recall also. So this recall really didn't do much. Also killing off these depots actually kind of frees up some area for Rush to start building some factories there. So really, this kind of backfired. And now top middle's going down. Look at the money differential now. Sure, Hero has 5 base still, or 6 base, but he really doesn't have as much of a bank. Now the one saving grace for him is he is still even in supply. He still has some AoE. He's got an Arbiter, a couple Templars. He's got 2 more Arbiters coming. So he still has 3 or 4 Arbiters here that can deal a lot of damage with their stasis. But Rush is on the move, killing off top middle. He's going to try and get this mineral only. But luckily for Hero, with all these bases, he can just transfer probes. Looks like mid-left is going to be the base he transfers this time. But a lot of probes going down here. Didn't transfer all of them. Bottom right is going to be scouted out by these vultures, but it's too late. This base is up. He just needs to send some probes over there. This army is going to get cleaned up from both sides. Wipes it out. Hero, he needs to rebuild these nexuses now that the army's been wiped out. Rush needs to, rebuild a critical mass army. He cannot move out with a low tank count, which is what he has right now. There's really not that many tanks in there, all over the place. 7, 8, 9, 10 tanks in total. Vultures at mid-left actually denied the mid-left base. I'm really surprised, but I'm really worried that Rush doesn't realize that he has so many units sitting right here. This is a lot of supply. Okay, he's found it. Lions in the center map. Catch a Templar. Catch a lot of units, actually. So Rush doing a good job to eliminate as many units as possible with just mines. And the supplies are, again, 190 to 190. The stasis goes down. That's not the greatest. Hero, his army is way unsynced. Meanwhile, Rush's is pretty synced up right now. He's going to catch an Arbiter, maybe? No. The Arbiter is doing a good job cloaking all the units, allowing Hero to get as many kills as possible. Two more Arbiters back at the Nat. From Hero, he's banking up a lot of energy. Thought that was a recall. Okay, there's Templar drop into bottom mid. Oh my gosh. This is going to kill so many workers. Where's the storm? Storm actually was a bit of a whiff. Rush with the instant reaction, really nicely done from him. Bottom right is up and running for Hero, even though he doesn't have tons of probes here. This is a, what's this? Dark Archon. Are we gonna have feedback or mind control? Can the DT save the day? Looks like it might save the day. Thought that a recall was coming on mid left, but doesn't look like it just yet. DT doing work. Every scan is so important too, because that's one less scan in the middle of an Arbiter fight. Vulture's finding more probes. This is a slugfest. Both players really just hammering each other on both sides of the map. DTs are trying to get out in time. Looks like the pylon is going to get taken out. I don't think it's actually going to complete. Ooh, maybe? Maybe he can get these DTs out and save bottom right? One DT will make it out. Vulture's into the main at top right, but cannons are set up here. So that should be fended off easily. But Rush is up 30 supply. Looks like Hero's the one falling apart now. Vulture's harassing more of the workers. 63 SCVs to 52 probes. But bottom right does get saved. Looks like a recall went off to ensure that the tanks end up getting wiped out. Now this is a lot of units on this side of the map. And 64 workers to 48. There's a big differential. Okay, what does this Archon want to do? We're almost at 150 energy. Is he going to try and mind control something? Do it, do it. Mind control a tank. Do it! Not yet. He doesn't want to yet. I guess he doesn't have it. Ooh, Vultures surround from the back. Dragoons. These are expensive. Dragoons are very... Oh, he got the vessel. So that's what he was waiting for. Try and feed back the vessel. He ends up catching it. But supply is still 35 in favor of Rush. These Vultures are dealing so much damage. Harassing the probe line at bottom right. He's going to kill all these cannons also. All of these workers are going to go down. And this time the Arbiter does not have enough energy to actually recall on top of it. But meanwhile, Rush losing almost his entire army in the center of the map. But it's only goons. Vulture tank, even though there's only 4 tanks here, can push this back. But still, Rush up 30 supply. Tanks are trying to bust through. Dark Archon wanted to get in there. Not able to feed back anything as there's no vessel in range. But Hero's still keeping up in supply. He's got his 4 bases up and running on the left side of the map now. He's got top right up and running also, and the natural. He does need to build a few more probes. He's at 48, which is a bit low. Rush doing a good job on his worker count at 67. This shuttle is trying to find any SCVs it can. It looks like this might be the dream spot to drop. There's so many SCVs that just got transferred here. It's 12. Ooh, that shuttle. What's he want to do? It's like in the center of the map. Dragoons are clearing out mines. Armor is syncing up. He's trying to find any potential vulnerability, but so far there is none. Shuttle coming in, but it's just going to die. Loses 2 Templars that definitely had enough energy for at least 1 storm. Oh, did I hear a recall? No, I just thought I saw a recall. Now the supplies are basically dead even once you factor in the worker count. A stasis goes off, but that's not the greatest one. Now that storm was really good, but Rush is caught up in the upgrades. He's at 3-2, and this is when it starts getting dangerous for the Protoss player. Sure, Protoss also has 3-1, but 3-2 so powerful for Terran. Now he's taking the mineral only. Rush is trying to secure the bottom side of the map. He's almost even in bases now. He's going to have 6 base versus 6 base, so he actually is even. And he has the better unit comp with the mass tanks, but a perfect recall on top of all the tanks. Where's the scans? They're way too late. Wipes out about 9 tanks for free, and there's so much storm still available. Another one goes down onto the Vultures, wipes them almost completely out. And look at the supply swing. It was max versus max. Now it's 160 to 170. Another tank going down. Every tank's so important to Rush. He's depleted in the main, in the natural. Oh, the main is not even mining gas with any workers. And at the 3rd base, it's only half of available gas remaining there. More Vultures and tanks getting wiped out by these mines. It's like the Dragoons may... Oh, might be overextending just a little bit too much here. They're losing a lot, but the Arbiter is still here, killing off so many units and being so impactful with that stasis. Vulture run by into the top, wipes out a few probes. Rush is doing such a good job to harass, but he needs to really build up that tank count. We're at 5 tanks. That's it. There's 2 sitting at mid left, but they're AFK there probably for the rest of the game to make sure that this base doesn't get recalled. But with bottom right up and running, Rush still has a lot of resources. He does need to start thinking about taking bottom right though. Here comes Hero again, trying to just run through these mines. There's only 5 tanks, there's really not much. 2 stasises go off, eliminate 4 out of the 5 tanks. But is there enough Protoss? He's got a lot of supply, but there's just not a lot here really to deal any damage. 3 Arbiters still remain, but really none of them have much energy left. 5 Arbiters, okay. Now we're starting to get up into critical mass Arbiters. 5 to 6 is when they start getting ridiculously scary. Another perfect stasis, just continuous stasis, picking off these units left and right. But he's losing so much supply to these mines that he's got to be careful that when these tanks come out of stasis, they may just actually pop these Dragoons instantly, or the Vultures will. Vulture's dealing so much damage. Tank comes out of stasis, but this is 5 Arbiters. Watch them pick off these tanks pretty quickly. 7 damage a shot. Goliath's going to come and try and save the day. He's got to be careful not to lose these Arbiters. These Arbiters are so expensive, so important to the Protoss army. There goes one. He's going to pick off another tank, but he trades. Oh, he doesn't trade an Arbiter. 2 of them gets really low. Bottom right, another recall there on top of the SCV line. Looks like this base is going to go down. 3 tanks are not going to be enough to fend it off. I think that Hero needs to just focus bottom right, because bottom middle is going to mine out. Sure, top left or mid left is an important base because it has gas, but if we just deny bottom right, then Rush has no more access to any bases. That's all we have to deny. Just don't let Rush get any more bases. We can take mid right ourselves. Just deny bottom right. So I'd like to see Hero shift his attention to focusing bottom right. Don't really need to focus on mid left there anymore. Man, these mines that are just randomly everywhere are dealing so much damage. Another group of zealots just instantly die, down to 1 health. Rush doing a really good job to keep the supply very even. How many bases are we really mining from as Hero? We've got 1 here, 2, 3, 4. So he still has 4 base mining. He still has a lot of Arbiters. Looks like this might be another recall here. Storm goes off. It's going to wipe out that tank. What is this? Recall. He's going to recall right on top of a tank. And all the Terran units just happen to be right there. A perfect EMP also eliminates the Templar energy. So this is a big loss for Hero. Again, losing so much supply. This is about the 3rd or 4th time he's had a huge recall fail or an overextension. And this is what Rush needs to get back into this game. Arbiter gets caught. That's another Arbiter down. Now, of course, we see this as an observer, but if Rush saw this, this would be the time for him to start taking bottom right. He really doesn't have to be worried about anything right now. The supply is way too in favor of him. Look how much army we actually have. There's 1 group. 1! We have a couple Arbiters, and I guess a round of units coming out of gates. So really only 2 groups of units right now for Protoss. Meanwhile, Terran's army is absolutely huge. He's near max. He's got 70 workers. He's got 3-3. He's got vessels. He's got basically everything you want. Another Zealot bomb clears out 1 of the tanks. Can he get that second tank? Yeah, he's gonna get that second tank. So nicely done there. But again, another expensive trade there that did have 1 Templar, 3 Zealots, and 1 shuttle. Another recall. I like it. As soon as he saw the army move, he comes down here and recalls it. But is it going to be enough to get this command center? I actually don't think it's going to be. It's just going to be annoying for Rush to deal with, but his base remains, and he's trading basically Vultures and SCVs for expensive Goons and Templars. Now how many more arbiters do we actually have? There's one sitting at bottom right. Does not have energy for recall just yet. I don't really see much more arbiters anywhere. Okay, mid right has an arbiter, but it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere that I don't think Hero really knows about it. Now, finally, Rush is the one that's trying to get out onto the offensive. He did attack a bit. Oh, he does know about that arbor. So now it's again coming out. I love this. As soon as Rush moves, did he scan it? Because he's turning around like he knows it has to be coming. And he's right. He's setting up mines. Great game sense from Rush here. Ooh, gotta be careful not to recall on those mines. All of them go off and explode on top of all these zealots and dragoons. And now the army basically instantly dies. He only killed like 3 tanks and a couple vultures there. So another big recall fail. And Rush, just go attack top right, my man. You have a huge army lead. There's not much AoE left. I don't see any arbiters anywhere now. Okay, there's one still here. Okay, this recall could be devastating. This might actually be the one that actually punishes Rush. But he's going to trade so much for it. That's a recall. And that's a lot of the supply. That forces a liftoff. SCV count is now 44, so we're losing a lot of workers here. But Hero's about to lose. Top right, he's losing his natural. He's going to lose this mineral only. He's going to probably lose top right. And then we're going to have literally one base mining for both players. Tanks are pushing into top right. There's no way he can hold this base. Here's just going to counterattack bottom middle, but there's really not a lot of minerals here. So he's got to make sure that he doesn't just throw away these zealots for free. He wants to be as cost effective as possible. But it looks like these zealots are just going to get thrown away. Hero does have a supply lead, but it's so small that I don't really think that this is a huge lead for Hero. Up 10 supply, 4 of them in workers. He needs to get another base. Nexus goes down. That's it. He is only mining at top middle. Meanwhile, Rush also only mining at mid left and I guess a little bit at bottom middle. More mine kills. The mines have done so much damage this game. It's incredible. Now, how many tanks do we have? We've got 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, he's got a lot of tanks. Oh, mid left gets broken. Now he does have to be careful because this is always kind of funneling in one at a time though. Oh, if he goes right now, this would be the window of opportunity. A great EMP. Templar goes down. So many tanks here. How many zealots? Oh my god, that's so many zealots. Arbiters from the back. I don't see any stasis anywhere. That's a state. That's only one stasis, but not the greatest. But is there enough Protoss? It looks like, oh, it's too close to call. Never mind. So many zealots from the back. All these tanks are going to fall. And we're broke. Rush has no money. That's it. No money for Rush. All of these tanks end up going down. But Protoss also threw away his entire army. He also has no... Oh, never mind. That's a lot of zealots. Still, 100 supply to 70 is 2 tanks versus about 12 zealots. The mine, somehow these mines just always trigger, deal so much damage. Look at how low these zealots are. So low. But both players basically not mining. 3 tanks at top middle. If he can wipe out this Nexus, we're going to have no mining for him at all. But all these tanks go down in the center of the map. There's only Goliaths and Vultures. We just need to build a few more goons. He's got enough for 3 goons here. I think just goons win the game for him. We're not mining at all. Rush has mid left replaced, but it's going to get found very quickly. And he does still need to transfer some SCVs. He's got 25 workers somewhere. I don't know where. Doesn't look like there's 25 at bottom middle. Be careful controlling your zealots, dude. You've been running into so many mines. Another zealot goes down there. This is a very close game, really up for grabs at this point. Nexus has started at top right. If mid left gets found, which it does, I don't think that Rush can actually hold it. Because his army is only 7 Goliaths, 5 Vultures, I I don't think he can actually fight this army. There's too many goons. There's too many powerful goons in this army. If he had 5 tanks and 7 Goliaths, I think maybe. But also you gotta remember, there's 3 Arbiters here. 4 Arbiters even. He can stasis every single Goliath here almost. Okay, so he does actually have 3 tanks, 8 Goliaths, 5 Vultures. This is all it comes down to. Hero's got top right built. He's not mining it just yet, but he's going to be mining it pretty soon. There's no command center at mid left. We have no money for Rush. He's got to float a command center from bottom middle or mid left. That's the only way he's going to mine it. He really should start thinking about floating bottom middle to this mineral only. I think Hero's done it. There's just too much AoE, too many spells, too many goons. Archons even coming into play. This is when you know we're in desperation mode. You never see Archons in Terran versus Protoss. But Rush has decided that mid left is the base he wants to live and die on. He's got 4 tanks. But there's 4 Arbiters. Almost all of them have 2 stasis available. He can stasis almost the entire army. This has got to be the last fight. Here comes those Arbiters. EMP has to hit every single Arbiter for him to have a chance. The supplies are very close, 91 to 73. But there's just too much nullifying energy with these Arbiters. Stasis. There's 1. He's got 4 more stasis available. And he's got Storm. And they both have 2 each. Another stasis. He gets full. It hurts! It hurts. We're down to 3 tanks, 2 Goliaths, and 5 Vultures. And we still have 3 more stasis available. Another stasis. He's gonna recall. He may just recall. Coming in from the sides. Oh, he's not going for a stasis. He recalls right on top of the tanks. And this is just too much Protoss. The tank and Goliath do come out of stasis though, but it's not going to be enough. There's just flat out too much. The Archons are actually very strong now too. Gets into the mineral line. If he wipes out these SCVs, it's all but over. It's all but over. All the SCVs are going to fall. Mid right is up and running now. And Hero actually takes out Rush 2-0 in this best of 3. And I was really not expecting that at all because Rush has been so good for so long. And I don't think Hero's really been playing that long. So really impressive from Hero. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing him play on Afrika. And maybe we can see him in like a Afrika Challenger series in the near future. So that's going to be it for us today. If you like this, make sure to tune in next time for another cast on StarCastTV.